Hello, so in this lecture we are going to discuss formatting in Python. Formatting simply means how to arrange your data. It may be strings or numbers, how to combine different kind of strings, how to insert numbers in a string, how to arrange your data in different kind of columns with different spacing, how to align your data. So these kind of things we are going to discuss in this lecture. This lecture is about formatting in Python. Okay, let's start with a simple print statement. For example, let's say if you want to print something like this, print this is a test statement. So you can just remove this test and uh, assign it a variable x is equal to test. If you would like to print test here, there are a number of different ways you can do that. You can simply divide this into two strings and insert x here, and you can simply do like this. So this is going to do the same thing for you. This is going to print it like this is a test statement. So x is going to be printed here at this position. So this has to be inverted commas. Okay, if you run this, you'll see this is a test statement. So test x is, so this x is equal to test is printed here. This is what we used to do before, but now we are going to move on to proper way to do this. So for that, we are going to use some kind of formatting. So for example, instead of doing this, I can do this, that x, just remove this. Okay, let's leave it x is equal to test here. So first thing that we are going to discuss is how to combine different kind of strings, where one string may be a rigid string and the other part of the string is what you want to change. So let's say if I want to insert this test here, if I want to insert this x here at this place, for that I use percentage mark. So this is just one complete string, because this thing is written in two inverted commas. These are not two strings. So inside this string at this place, I want to insert this variable x, and x is simply string. The data type of x is string. So for that, I'll write here s. So percentage sign, meaning here that this is kind of, we are holding this position. So percentage sign is considered as placeholder. So we are holding this position for a data type which is s. S means string. Now at this position we are going to insert something, and that something is x. So this is going to come here after these inverted commas. This is, we'll write a percentage sign, and then in parentheses we are going to put x here. Now this x will be printed at this position. Let's see if it works. Okay, so it worked. This is a test statement. Similarly, you can insert multiple variables in a string. So let's try with two different variables. So okay, let's comment it. Okay, so now I'm going to have a string in which I'm going to insert two variables. So print okay, let's define two variables before. So one variable is age. Suppose age is 30, and name is another variable. Suppose name is John. Okay, so I'm going to print a statement in which I'm going to say that my name is this and I'm 30 years old. Okay, so for that what I can do is using this formatting. Okay, so for that I can use the same thing I have used here, but now I'm going to insert one variable which is a number and the other variable which is a string. So print, so here I want to print my name, so the percentage sign goes here. That means I'm going to hold this position, and the variable that is going to come here is string. So s goes here, s is for string. So my name is this and my age is, so here I'm going to insert the age. So again percentage sign goes here, this is placeholder, and then after that I have to insert the variable which is age. Sorry, which is the variable which is an integer. For integer, the symbol we use is D. Like for string we use S, and for integer we use D. So this tells print statement that string is going to come here, and this D tells that some integer is going to come here. So now we have completed this string. Now after that we have to specify what values are going to be at this position and this position. For that we have to insert percentage sign again, and there is no comma here. Okay, and then you have to have parentheses, and then in the same order you can specify the values here. So here goes name. First the name is going to come to the first position, comma, and age is going to, the value stored in age is going to be here at D. Okay, so let's see if it works. We save it and we print it here. So my name is John and my age is 30. So this kind of formatting actually gives you flexibility. You can insert anything you want in a string, in a single string. This is just a single string. You can do the same thing with different kind of variables, different kind of data. So there is a proper format for this placeholder. So I'm going to write this in comments that what other things we can have here. So let's write this in comments. So format of the placeholder is something like this. You insert the percentage sign and there is a flag. Flag comes here, and then width, and after width there is a point, and then there's another option you have is precision, and after precision you have type code. Okay, this is the general format for the spaced holder here, like %s. So here we have simply written the type code. The type code for string is S. So we have skipped all these optional arguments. So we have just written percentage sign and type code. So these are the options you can have for this kind of formatting. Here in flag you have to tell whether you want to align your data on left or right, and some other options are there. And for width you have to specify the space for your variable, whether you want to store your variable in 10 characters, 20 characters, 50 characters. So this is going to be the minimum width you have to assign for your variable. Then you have a dot, and precision is simply the number of digits you want after decimal, after this point. And type code is you have to specify whether it's a string or it's an integer. So now let me explain all these things one by one. So let's talk about flag. Okay, I have written details of these options. So flag, so for flag we have many options, but I'm specifying few of them. So if you have minus here, that means that the number has to be left adjusted. If you have plus, that we would like to show the sign of that number, whether the number is positive or negative. And if you insert 0 here, that means you would like to insert some zeros in the beginning of number. So width is minimum character space for the variable. So we can do this here. So your number is 23. Either you can have 2 digits for this number, or if you would like to have more space for this number, you can do that. For example, you can reserve 5 character space for this number. So at this point this number is carrying only 22 character space. So I can have like one more, 1, 2, 3. So from here to here, 5 character space for this number. This is also possible, and this helps in formatting. Precision. So let's talk about precision. Precision means the number of digits after decimal. How many numbers you want after decimal. The type code means what kind of variable you are going to place here. If it is string, then you have to use S. If it is integer, you have to use D. We also use I for integer, and if it's a floating point, use F. If you would like to express your number in the form of exponent, then you have to place exponent here. And similarly, if you would like to have capital E for exponent, you have to use capital E. G is for general format. So if you insert G, the Python is going to decide whether the number has to be in the form of E, like in the exponent, or the number has to be in the form of f, like the floating point. I will tell you how Python decides which format should be here when you insert g there, and double percentage sign to insert percent in your string. Okay, let's talk about these things one by one with some examples. Okay, let's discuss a few examples of these options in interactive window. So suppose I have a number x is equal to 3.456, and I would like to have this string where I would like to say that my number is this x. So I would like to print this x here. So now I can format this number the way I want. So after this percentage sign, you can have flag, you can specify width, you can specify precision, and then you have to specify type code. So let's say we would like to adjust our number on the left side. We would like to left align our number, so I'm just writing minus here. And width, let's say in order to store this number I just need 5 character space, so 1, 2, 3, and for decimal you have this also takes 1 character space. So this number takes total of 5 character space. So I can specify any number here. I can specify, let's say 6 character space here, and then so for width I have taken 6, then here goes point, and for precision now it's my choice. I can specify 2 or 4. Let me specify 2. So I'm saying that total space is 6 and 2 are coming after the decimal. Now after that I have to specify the type code. Let's say I'm saying that f is for floating point. Okay, this has to be in the complete string. Once you're done with your string, writing your string, then you have to specify the variables which are going to go to these positions. Here we have used print statement, because if you write something in this file and you want to print it, you have to use print statement. But when you define some variable in interactive window, you don't need to use print statement. It is going to be printed without print statement. So here I'm going to specify this x. This has to be enclosed in parentheses. Now this string says that this x should be replaced at this position. X should follow this formatting, that it should be on 6 digit space, and it should be left aligned, and after decimal you must have 2 digits. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the answer is my number is 3.46. so if you look at here, so my is my, number is number, is, and at this place we have 3.46. so after decimal we wanted 2 digits after decimal, therefore Python has rounded it off, so we have 3.46. but we specified total space to be 6. So you can see here that your comma comes here, so you have total 6 spaces. 3.46, there are 4, and then 2 spaces are here. So these spaces are reserved for this number. So this is how you can play with these options. Now let's try to remove this minus sign and see what happens. Okay, so if I remove minus sign from here, now by default every number is going to be aligned on the right side, but if you specify minus, the number will be aligned on the left side. Now if I print it here, so you'll see that now your space is on the left side. The number has gone to 3.46 here, but the extra character space is on the left side. So actually number has been adjusted on the right side and the space is on the left side. But if you insert minus sign, the number will be adjusted on the left side. So this is how this works. Okay, so here in this formatting, if you do this kind of formatting, you see that the extra digits that we have reserved are empty. There is nothing here, but you can insert 0 if you want. So for that you can use this 0 to insert 0 at the empty spaces. Now I can use this optional argument here, because first thing is flag, then the second thing is width, precision, and then type code. So instead of writing minus here, I can simply write 0. So 0 would mean that fill up all the empty spaces with 0. Let's see how it works. Okay, so you can see that there are two zeros here. Before that, this reserved space was empty. Now the two zeros have come here. Okay, let's try this second flag option. And if I insert plus here, then it is going to display the sign of the number. For example, if I remove this 0 from here and I just insert plus, since this x is positive, because x is 3.456, it's a positive number, so usually you don't write plus in front of positive numbers, but if you write plus here, then this statement is going to show the sign of this variable. If it is negative, it's going to show the negative here. If it is positive, it's going to show positive here. Let's try this. Okay, so you see that we have plus 3.46 here. Let's change the sign of our number x. So if I write minus here and then I do the same thing, again the plus is here. The plus simply means show the numeric sign of this number x. If you press enter, you see the negative sign here. Okay, now let's try with some integers. So for example, let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to do this. Okay, so there are no decimals, so we don't need to specify the precision. You can specify the precision for integer as well if you would like to do that, but these all options are optional. You can skip any one of them or all of them. Now I am saying that the number should have 3 digits, but the exact number of the digits are 5. So in that case, Python is going to ignore this and show the exact number, because this doesn't make sense. That I'm saying that I want to write this number in 3 digits. This is not possible. So Python is going to ignore. In that case, in such situations, Python is going to ignore this number we have specified here. Let's see how it works. So for integer we can use d, or you can also use I for integers. Okay, so you see that there is no effect of this 3 here, and you get the complete number here. Okay, if you don't specify, let's say you want to write your type code is F, and you don't specify the number of digits after the decimal place, then let's see what happens. Okay, now let me just, let's change this number. This number is now 12.345, and I'm going to express this number. Let's say I want this number in 5 places. The type code is F, and I don't specify that number of digits after the decimal place. Let's see what it does. So you see that it's going to you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. You have 6 decimal places. So by default, Python assigns 6 decimal places if you don't specify the precision here. The default number of digits after decimal point is 6. So if you don't specify, this is going to be 6 automatically. And the same is true for integer. Let's say if you have this integer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and usually you don't have digits after decimal in integer, but if you want to format this number like float, then you can do that. And you see that the Python has assigned 6 digits after decimal. So this is by default. If your type code is floating point, then Python is going to assign 6 decimal digits after that. Okay, now let's see how this E works. Let's try with the same number. So now I'm going to replace this F by E and press enter, and you see that you get this expression with 6 decimal places. So by default, whether you use E or you use F or you use capital E, after decimal you are always going to get 6 decimal digits. This is Python formatting. Okay, if you replace this by capital E, then this is going to be just capital E here. There's no difference between small e and capital E. For capital E, only Python is going to replace this place with capital E. Well, let's talk about this option G. So G either formats your number in terms of E, or it gives you a number in floating point like F. So for example, let's say if we have this number x 1.23467, and then we would like to format this number like this, where we want 4 total digit space and 3 should be after decimal, and then we have this G. Let's see what happens. So we get 1.23. So usually what this G does is, if your number is small, it's going to round off your number to 3 significant digits. So this 3 would be, when you say 3, that means it is going to be rounded to 3 significant digits, not 3 decimal digits. There's a difference. And when your number is, and it's going to print that number in the form of floating point if your number is small. But if your number is large, then it's going to print number in the form of exponent. So let's try this. If we change this number and we bring this decimal to here, and this number is now pretty large. Let's see if we do the same thing. We want the same thing and we print it here. Now we see that the number has been printed in the form of exponent. So when it comes to G, this 3 would be considered as the 3 significant digits, not the 3 decimal points. There is a precise ruling for G when it's going to print in floating point, when it's going to print in exponent, but that's not important here right now. So we can use these options to print the data in a tabular form or in columns form with a proper spacing. Okay, now let's discuss an example where we have some data and we will use these information, these formatting, to print that data in nicer form. We are going to have 2 columns and we would like to have proper spacing between the columns. So that data is going to be data from the bank. Let's say we have some names of account holder, and we have information about their amounts, the amounts they have in their bank account. So let's define a variable by the name of names, and name is going to be a list which consists of different names. So for example, it can have a name Abdul Majid, it can have a name Aslam, it can have a name John, and maybe one more name. Let's have some Japanese name, Ito. Okay, so this is list of the names. Now let's have a list of their amounts they have in their bank accounts. So we can just call it amount, and I'm going to assign a random amount. So for example, this guy has this amount, the first one, and the other one has this amount, and the third one has even little amount, and the fourth one has like this amount. Okay, so these are 3 different amounts, and if you look at this data, you can see that each name has different length. This has different length, this has different length, and this has different length, and similarly the amount has different length. So if you try to print this data in the column format, so that one column has name, the other column has amount, without using this formatting, you won't get data in the nicer form. Let's try to do this and see what happens. So in order to print this data in column format, you have to use for loop. So there are like 1 2 3 4 entries for I in range 4, because there are 4 entries. So I is going to go from 0 to 3. So print, you would like to print this names, ith entry of the name, and then leave some space, and then print ith entry of the amount. So our intention is to print names and the corresponding amount, and we want to see things in the column form. The first column should be names and the other column should be amount. And let's see what happens if we print this. Save, and let's run this file. So you see that data is not organized. So the names are organized, they have left positions, they have been aligned on the left side, but the numbers are not aligned. Let's simply comment this because we don't need this data anymore. Okay, so to format this data properly, what we can do is we can use these formatting. So I can reserve some digit space for this data and some digit space for this data. So, and I can use for that I have to specify width here. Let's say I align my data on the left side and I assign some digit space for each of these data types. So let's change this print statement. I can simply have this string. Okay, let's use that formatting. So I'm going to have a string here, and the string is going to contain so I'm going to fix two positions. First position for names, so this should not be in a string form. So these are the two variables for which I would like to reserve some space. Okay, so here I'm going to reserve the space. The first variable is going to go here, so I will use percentage sign and I want to left assign it. Let's say I would like to reserve a 12 digit space for the first variable, and this variable is a string, so this has to be S here according to this format. And the second I'm going to do is I'm going to reserve let's say 10 digit space, and that variable is integer. For that I will use D. Okay, so the first variable is going to go here, and I have reserved 12 spaces for that variable, and it is going to be aligned on the left side. And for second variable I have reserved 10 spaces, and it is going to be aligned similarly on the left side, and there is no spacing between them. So this is going to be like this. You have 12 spaces here on the first column, and then you have 10 spaces reserved for the next column. Let's see how it works. Let me just print it, run it. So you see that things are in proper order. So this is your first column and this is your second column. So this is how you can have table like this, where you can adjust spacing between the columns so that they look nice. Okay, so this is how you can arrange your data. So now let's talk about some other ways to combine different kind of strings. Just comment this part, we don't need it anymore. So there are other ways to print different kind of string or combine different kind of string. For example, let's say we have this variable age, which takes any value, let's say 30, and I want to print this message like we did before. Let print. So I would like to print here my age is 30, but I want to use this age as a variable. So you can use a printf command here. So this f is part of now this print statement, and then you can insert a string here. So I'll write my age is, and this 30, I want to make this 30 as a variable. So for that I can simply have a curly bracket here, and in curly bracket I can have age. So now here, instead of printing my age is age, this print is going to take the value of age here. If I don't use these brackets here, then it will be simply printed string as it is. The string will be printed as it is. But if I would like to replace a value of some variable, then I can use this parenthesis. So now the value of age 30 is going to be replaced here. Let's see how it works. You print it, you see that my age is 30. This is another way to combine two strings. So we are combining this my age with this age is equal to 30. You can have multiple strings inside a string. Suppose if I have another variable, name is John, so I can simply say my age is age and my name is this name. So now the value of name is going to go here. So these brackets are simply placeholder. They are reserving place for this variable age. Now the value of age will go here, and the value of name is going to go here. So this has to be inverted commas because this is a string. Now if you run this, you will see that you get my age is 30 and my name is John. So there's even one more way to format your strings. So okay, let's comment this. And so there's a method in string that you can use to format string. It is called format. So for example, let's do this here. Let's say I want to say the same thing. I want to print the same thing. My age is 30 and my name is John. So, and now I want to use another different way to format my string. I can do that. My name is, and here I can use a placeholder. I can reserve a place for some variable. My name is this and my age is this. Okay, so there are two things, there are two positions that I'm reserving, this position and this position. And for this string, this is a string, this is a method of strings which is used to format a string. So I can use that method dot, and that method name is format. And format takes some argument. It's a function which takes some argument, and whatever you put here, it is going to go to these empty positions, these curly brackets. And as we know that we can pass argument to function by position and by keyword. So if I simply do this, 30, my name is John. If I just have here John, and the second argument, if I put 30 here, John will go here in the first position and 30 will go in the second position. If I do this, I get this, my name is John and my age is 30. So you can also use this format method. It's a method which is specific to string. So you can use this format method to combine different kind of strings or insert one string inside the other string. As we know that there are a number of ways to pass argument to functions. So you can do the same thing here. This is a function here, and this is the 0th argument of this function, and this is first argument of this function. So you can also say that 0th argument should go here and the first argument should go here. So you get the same thing. Let's say if you change the order here, you say 30 first and then you say John next, 30 and John. Now this 30 is supposed to be here for this age bracket, and John is supposed to be here, but 30 has index 0 and the John has index 1. So now we can replace these indices here. So this 1 will go here, first position will go here, and 0th position will go here. So now you get answer, my name is John and my age is 30. This is actually from the concept we discussed in class. You can pass argument to function by position, or you can pass argument to function by keyword. So for example, if you want to pass argument by keyword, so I can say that I want age here, age, sorry, name, and I want age here. So what I have to do is I will just now I don't care about the positions of these places. I just want to pass argument by their name. So I will say age is equal to 30 and name is equal to John, sorry, with small n. So we get the same thing, my name is John and my age is 30. So you can pass argument to this function by keyword, you can pass argument to this function by name. It's your choice. So there are some advanced options available for this format method. Let's see how we can use them here. So for that, I'm going to define a test string. Test string, this is my variable, and this test string is simply the same sentence that we have used many times. So this is going to be my name is this empty bracket and my age is this empty bracket, and I'm going to use this format method to fill up these brackets. So first thing that is going to go in this is my name. So let's call that name John, and my age is, let's call it 40. Now at this point you can define, I said before, you can define the positions. You can pass argument by position or you can pass argument by names, it's your choice. So this has a more general format. Anything that goes here in this bracket has more general format, so I'm going to define that format here in comments. Okay, so this is the general format of this position space holder. So there are two things we have to discuss here: keyword, colon, and format specification. So keyword can be a position or it can be a name. Like here we passed these arguments here by their position. We said 0, anything which has 0 index here should go here, and first position should go here. This is how we did. And in the second case we have passed this argument by keyword. So we are saying that the name should go here. Okay, maybe here name should go in this place and age should go in this place. So this keyword simply means that either you can have position here or you can have a name here. So I have written here that keyword is position or some keyword. Format specification, for example, we are printing 40 here in this place. So now we can print this 40 in number of different format. Let's say, for example, if you have some decimal number here, so you can do all these things that we did in the previous case. You can have flag, you can have bits, you can specify the number of digits after decimal, and then the type code. So the format specification is going to be something like this. So the first argument, all these arguments are optional, you can leave them if you want, no problem. So align, if you would like to align this number which goes here, you can align it on the left side, on the right side, or you can align that number in the center. So for left alignment we use this less than equal to sign. For right alignment we use this greater than equal to sign, it's going to go here. And for center we use this hat. And the next argument is sign. Sign is, it's up to you, if it depends on your number. If you would like to print plus here, you simply have to write plus. If you would like to print minus here, you simply have to write minus. And 0 means you can add extra zeros in front of your number if needed. And width, precision are the same that we have already discussed for in this place. And type code is the same thing, like you can have integer here, you can have floating point here, and etc, etc. Okay, let's do this. Let's try this for this example. Okay, so I can say that this John is at the first position. I want John to be printed here, so I would say 0th position. I mean 0 is the first position, and then colon. So I have specified the keyword, or I have specified the position here, that anything which is at the 0th position in this function should go here. And after that I can specify some kind of specification here, but that's completely optional. You can leave it empty, or you can say that you would like to assign it on the left side, on the right side. Let's say I will say that, okay, adjust this John on the left side, and I can fill up the other options, but this is a string, I don't need to do that. And my age is 30, so this age is at the first index, that means the second position. So I would say 1. The 1 is for this keyword, and after that I have to specify this format specification. So here I can do some more things, like I can assign it on the right side. Let's assign it on the right side, and then if I would like to add some zeros, I can simply write 0 here. And width, if you want to reserve a width of, let's say, 5, you can reserve width 5. And there's a decimal place. If you want to add some decimals, you can add some decimals here. Let's say you want to add 2 decimals, you can simply add that. And then if you have this decimal representation of this 40, you can simply have type code F. So these are the things you can change if you are using format method of string. Okay, now let's see what happens if you print this, save it and run this. So okay, unname format code F. Okay, there is error here because 40 is not a string, it's an age, so we have to get out of it from inverted commas. Okay, save it and let's run this, see what happens. Okay, we run this way and we didn't get anything because we have not yet printed this new string. So actually we are combining two different strings. There is a one string, and inside this string we are inserting John here and 40 here with certain formatting. So you will get a new string, and by the name of test string. If you want to see how it looks like, you have to print it here. Print test string. Okay, let's run this and see that my name is John and my age is 40. So 40 has been printed in a format that we decided to print. Okay, so there are lots of things you can do here. I will upload the readings on LMS so that you can see this, and you can try other options on your own. Thank you.